5 adopted children were found to be in awful conditions. Investigators arrived on October 2nd, 2023 around 5:45 in the afternoon. They pulled up to the 200th block of Cheyenne Lane and immediately saw a barn on the property where there was also a main residence. But this barn is where these kids were allegedly being kept. So they went to this barn and they found a padlock was on the outside of the doors. So investigators proceeded to actually break into this barn. And inside they would find a 20 by 14 foot room with 2 teens. Now this was a 16-year-old female and a 14-year-old male, and they would allegedly tell the police that they had no way to exit the shed on their own. The 16-year-old stated that this was a common occurrence for them being in the shed. They were not allowed to go outside at all. They had been given food around 6 a.m. that morning, but they had been in the barn ever since. However, these 2 teens were not the only children located on the property. When the deputies made their way to the main residence on the property, they would look into the windows and find a small child who they believed to be around 5 or 6 years old, crying and sitting on the floor in a loft that was higher than the rest of the room. They were eerily close to a 15-foot drop, and so they forced entry, worried that this child was going to fall and harm themselves. Again, inside they found no presence of parents or guardians, and so the deputies tried to make contact with the family members, and they were unable to reach them at this point. It wouldn't be until hours later, around 8:30 to 9:45 p.m., that the parents would arrive, and they would be identified as 63-year-old Donald Ray Lance and 61-year-old Jean K. Whitefeather. These were the adoptive parents of 5 black children who had ranged from 5 to 16 at that time and were all biological siblings. When asked why the children were locked in this shed, the father Donald stated that they liked it. They were then both arrested on felony charges of gross child neglect. It was alleged that the children were targeted because of their race and basically used as for forced labor.